All right, Romeo and Juliet Act 2. Just as a review, the last thing that happened in Act 1 of Romeo and Juliet was that the party at the Capulet household ended, and Romeo found out that Juliet, who he has just seen and fallen in love with, is a member of the Capulet family, and he's really sad and upset to hear that. And Juliet has just found out that Romeo, the man that she has seen and fallen in love with, is a Montague. And she is also upset and disappointed about that. But she also mentions that it's too late. They are in love and there's nothing they can do about it. So here we are in Act 2, Scene 1. It takes place in an open place just outside the wall of the Capulet's garden. Romeo enters. So Romeo is still at the Capulet's house. He is in the Capulet's garden. Romeo says, "How can I go when my heart is here? I must stay and find my center." And he climbs the wall and leaps over it. Benvolio and Mercutio enter the scene. Benvolio says, "Romeo, my cousin Romeo." Mercutio says, "If he is wise, he's gone home to bed." Benvolio, "No, I think he ran this way," and leaped over the orchard wall. "Call out, good Mercutio." Mercutio says, "I'll call him with magic words. Romeo, madman, passionate lover, appear to us in the likeness of a sigh. Speak just one rhyme, and I'll be happy. Say, ah me, or say love and dove. Speak to Venus, the goddess of love. Say a few words for her son Cupid." Mercutio listens, but Romeo does not answer. Mercutio says he hears nothing. "I will use magic to bring him back. Oh, what shall I say? Oh, I know. By Rosaline's bright eyes, by her high forehead and her red lips, by her fine feet and straight legs, I summon you to appear to us." Benvolio laughs. "If he hears you, you will anger him." Mercutio says, "This cannot anger him. My spell is fair and honest. I used Rosaline's name to get his attention." Benvolio replies, "He has hid himself among these trees so he can be alone with the night. His blind love sees best in the dark." Mercutio says, "If love is blind, it cannot hit the mark. He might be sitting under a fruit tree, wishing his love were that kind of fruit." He calls to Romeo, "Romeo, good night. It's too cold in this field for me to sleep. Come, shall we go?" Benvolio replies, "Let's go then. It is foolish to seek him here. He does not want to be found." And Benvolio and Mercutio exit. Scene 2, we are still in the Capulet's orchard. So an orchard is a place outside where there are grass and fruit trees. So this is where Romeo is, in the orchard of the Capulets. Romeo says, "Mercutio laughs at love's scars, but he has never felt a wound." Juliet appears above at a window. Of course, this is her house, so no surprise that Juliet is up in her house. And Romeo says, "Ah, but oh, what light comes through that window? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the jealous moon, who is already sick and pale with grief, because you are more fair than she. It is my lady. Oh, it is my love. Oh, if only she knew how I feel. She speaks, yet she says nothing. Her eye speaks, but not to me. Two of the fairest stars in all the heaven have business elsewhere. They ask her eyes to twinkle until they return. What if her eyes were in the heavens and the stars were in her head? The brightness of her cheek would shame those stars, as daylight shames a lamp. Her eyes in heaven would make the sky so bright, the birds would sing, thinking it was not night. See how she leans her cheek upon her hand. If only I were a glove upon that hand, that I might touch her cheek." Juliet says, "Oh my." And Romeo says, "She speaks. Oh, speak again, bright angel, for you are as glorious as a winged angel of heaven." Juliet, who does not know that Romeo is down in her garden, she thinks she is alone. Juliet says to herself, "Oh, Romeo, Romeo, why are you a Montague? Deny your father and refuse your name. Or, if you will not, swear to be my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet." Romeo, aside, meaning he's saying this to himself, says, "Shall I listen more, or shall I dare to speak?" Juliet continues, "Only your name is my enemy. What's a Montague? It is not a hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Oh, take some other name." So she is sad that Romeo is a Montague. She wishes that was not his name. She says, "What's in a name? A rose, by any other name, would smell just as sweet. So Romeo would still be perfect were he not called Montague. Romeo, take off your name, and for that name, which is no part of you, take all of me." Romeo says, "I take you at your word. Call me your love, and I'll have a new name. From now on, I will never be Romeo." Juliet says, "Who are you, hidden in the night, listening to what I say?" Romeo says, "I don't know how to tell you who I am. My name, dear lady, is hateful to me because it is an enemy to you. If it were written, I would tear the paper." Juliet says, "My ears have heard less than 100 words from that mouth, and yet I know the sound. Are you not Romeo and a Montague?" Romeo says, "Neither, fair lady, if you dislike either." Juliet says, "How did you get here? Tell me. The orchard walls are high and hard to climb, and this place could mean your death, considering who you are, if any of my kinsmen find you here." Romeo says, "I flew over these walls with love's light wings. Stone walls cannot hold back love, and what love can do, love dares to try. And so your kinsmen cannot stop me." Juliet says, "But if they see you, they will murder you." Romeo replies, "There is more danger in your eye than in 20 of their swords. Just look sweet, and I am ready to fight their hatred." Juliet says, "I would not for the world want them to see you here." Romeo says, "I have night's dark cloak to hide me, and if you don't love me, oh, then let them find me. It would be better to end my life by their hate than to live without your love." Juliet says, "Who told you how to find this place?" Romeo said, "Love told me. I am not a ship's pilot, but if you were a fair shore washed with the furthest sea, I would sail to find you." Juliet says, "The mask of night is on my face, otherwise you would see me blush, for what you have heard me say tonight. Do you love me? I know you will say yes, and I will take your word, but do not swear it, for you may be lying. When lovers lie, they say the gods laugh. Oh, gentle Romeo, say it faithfully. Or, if you think I am too quickly won, I'll frown so you will charm me more. But the truth is, fair Montague, I am too fond of you to pretend. You may think I am not modest, but trust me, gentlemen, I'll be more true than those who are more cunning. I should have been more coy, perhaps, but you overheard my true feelings before I was aware that you were here. My true love, please forgive me. My love is not as light as it may seem." Romeo says, "Lady, I swear by the moon that—" Juliet says, "Oh no, do not swear by the moon. It changes from one night to the next." Romeo says, "What should I swear by?" Juliet says, "Do not swear at all. Or if you must, swear by your gracious self, which is the God I adore, and I'll believe you." Romeo says, "By my heart's dear love." Juliet says, "No, do not swear, although you give me joy. I have no joy about our love tonight. It is too rash, too fast, too sudden, too much like lightning, which is gone before you can even say, 'Look, lightning.' Good night. This bud of our love may bloom into a beautiful flower when we meet again. Good night, good night. May sweet rest come to your heart as it has come to mine." Romeo says, "Ah, would you leave me so unsatisfied?" Juliet says, "What satisfaction can you have tonight?" Romeo says, "I wish to exchange your faithful vow of love for mine." Juliet says, I gave you mine before you asked for it, and yet I would take it back. Romeo says, you would take it back? Why, love? Juliet says, so I could give it to you again. My love is as deep as the sea, and the more I give to you, the more I have, for both are endless. The nurse calls from off stage, and Juliet says, I hear some noise inside. Dear love, farewell. The nurse calls again. "Ah, be a moment, good nurse. Sweet Montague, be true. Wait here a minute, and I will come out again. So Juliet goes into her house. Romeo says, oh, blessed, blessed night. I fear, since it is night, that this is just a dream. It is too sweet to be real. Juliet enters again above. 3 words, dear Romeo, and then good night. If your love is honorable, and you want to wed means to get married, send me word tomorrow. I'll send someone to get your message. Tell me where and when we will marry, and then I'll lay all my fortunes at your feet and follow you throughout the world. The nurse from off stage says, Madame, and Juliet says, I'm coming. Then she says to Romeo, but if you do not want to marry me, I beg you to leave me alone to my grief. 1,000 times good night. And Juliet exits. Romeo says, it is 1,000 times worse now that she is gone. And Juliet enters again above. Juliet says, Romeo. Romeo replies, is it my soul that calls my name? What a silver sweet sound. It is like the softest music to attentive ears. Juliet says, Romeo. Romeo says, my dear? And she says, at what time should I send a messenger to you? Romeo says, at the hour of 9. Juliet says, I will not fail. It will seem like 20 years until then. Good night, good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow that I could say good night until tomorrow. And Juliet exits. Romeo says, sleep well, and peace be in your heart. I will visit Friar Lawrence in his monk's cell, his help to ask, and my good fortune to tell. And Romeo exits.